There's something different about the Sigma female. She moves in silence, commands respect, and answers to no one. But while her strength is admirable, it's also intimidating. Some men are drawn to her like a mystery they can't solve. Others, they run. Why? Because the dark side of a Sigma female isn't for the weak. A Sigma female is the embodiment of self-sufficiency. She doesn't just survive on her own, she thrives. Unlike many who seek constant validation from others, she operates on a different level. Her confidence doesn't come from compliments, approval, or social status. It comes from within. From an early age, she realized she didn't need to follow the crowd to feel accepted. She forged her own path, made her own decisions, and learned to be comfortable in her solitude. While many women are conditioned to seek validation through relationships, social circles, or external achievements, the Sigma female is different. She sets her own standards, and if people don't agree, that's their problem, not hers. This level of independence can be intimidating, especially to men who are used to playing the protector or provider role. A Sigma female doesn't need a man to complete her life. She doesn't rely on anyone for financial security, emotional stability, or self-worth. And while this makes her incredibly attractive to those who admire strength, it can also be downright terrifying for men who base their identity on being needed. A man who craves control or dominance in a relationship will quickly realize that a Sigma female won't play that game. She won't pretend to be helpless just to boost a man's ego. She won't fake vulnerability for attention. If she's struggling, she handles it herself. If she wants something, she goes after it. And if a man isn't adding value to her life, she has no problem walking away. This doesn't mean she's incapable of love or partnership. Far from it. A Sigma female can love deeply, but only when she chooses to, not out of necessity. She's selective, patient, and refuses to settle for anything less than a relationship built on mutual respect and independence. For some men, this is a breath of fresh air. For others, it's a nightmare. The idea that a woman could be perfectly content on her own challenges traditional gender roles. It forces men to ask themselves, am I with her because I ADD to her life, or because I need her to need me? And if the answer isn't the right one, a Sigma female will see through it instantly. Then she'll move on, without hesitation. A Sigma female doesn't wear her heart on her sleeve. She's not cold. She's just selective with her emotions. While many people openly express their feelings, seeking comfort or validation from others, she prefers to keep hers locked away until she decides someone is truly worthy of seeing them. This emotional restraint makes her an enigma. She doesn't get overly excited about superficial things, nor does she fall apart in the face of adversity. She handles her emotions internally, processing them in solitude rather than broadcasting them for sympathy or reassurance. This level of self-control is rare, and for some, unsettling. Men who are used to emotionally expressive women may find themselves frustrated by a Sigma female's detachment. She won't send mixed signals or play mind games, but she also won't flood a man with constant affirmations. She won't chase, she won't beg, and she certainly won't entertain toxic drama. If she has feelings for someone, she shows it in small, meaningful ways, not with over-the-top displays of affection. The challenge? Many men mistake her quiet intensity for indifference. They assume she doesn't care, when in reality, she just doesn't see the point in proving herself through emotional theatrics. Unlike women who seek constant reassurance, a Sigma female finds strength in her emotional independence. She doesn't need someone to validate her feelings. She knows exactly how she feels, and she doesn't require permission to process it in her own way. This detachment can be intimidating, even confusing, to those who expect relationships to follow a predictable emotional script. Some men misinterpret her calm demeanor as a lack of interest. Others may assume she's unapproachable or even emotionally unavailable. The truth? She's neither. She simply refuses to waste energy on shallow connections. A Sigma female doesn't just give her heart away. She makes people earn it. If a man is patient enough, secure enough, and strong enough to handle her depth, he'll eventually see a side of her that very few ever do. But if he needs constant reassurance, expects her to be emotionally dependent, or can't handle her self-sufficiency, he'll be left wondering why she never fully let him in, when in reality, he just wasn't strong enough to hold the key. A Sigma female doesn't sugarcoat her words. She speaks her mind with clarity, precision, and a level of honesty that can be downright brutal to those who aren't ready for it. While many people tiptoe around the truth to avoid offending others, she believes in saying what needs to be said. No fluff, no fake smiles, no unnecessary pleasantries. This trait makes her both respected and feared. People always know where they stand with her, because she doesn't believe in playing social games or disguising her true opinions just to fit in. If she thinks something is a bad idea, she'll say it. If she doesn't like someone's behavior, she'll call it out. If a man asks for her thoughts, he better be ready for the raw, unfiltered truth. Some men find this level of honesty refreshing. They admire a woman who doesn't manipulate, doesn't deceive, and doesn't waste time with empty flattery. But others, they feel exposed. Weak men, in particular, may struggle with her direct nature because they're used to women softening their words to protect male egos. A Sigma female does not do that. If a man is acting insecure, she won't coddle him. She'll challenge him to grow. If he's lying to himself, she won't play along. She'll call him out. And this is where the problem lies. Many people say they want honesty, but when faced with the unfiltered truth, they panic. They get defensive. They label her as cold or harsh, simply because she refuses to tell them what they want to hear instead of what they need to hear. A Sigma female doesn't speak to hurt. She speaks to be real. She doesn't have time for fake friendships, shallow compliments, or relationships built on lies. If she's with a man, she expects him to be strong enough to handle the truth. If he can't, that's a sign he's not the right match for her. Her honesty is her weapon and her shield. It protects her from people who can't handle reality and attracts those who value authenticity. She knows that some will be intimidated by her words, but she also knows one thing for certain. The right man won't just tolerate her honesty. He'll respect it, even when it's hard to hear. A Sigma female doesn't date just for the sake of dating. She's not interested in meaningless flings, shallow conversations, or settling for average. She holds herself to a high standard in every area of her life. Her ambitions, her mindset, her personal growth. So why would her relationships be any different? She doesn't need a man. She chooses one. And that choice isn't made lightly. While many women are willing to overlook red flags in the name of love or companionship, a Sigma female has zero tolerance for mediocrity. She would rather be alone than waste time on someone who isn't aligned with her values, drive, or depth. This makes her incredibly selective. She doesn't fall for charm alone. Words mean nothing if they aren't backed by action. A man can be attractive, successful, even charismatic, but if he lacks substance, if he's insecure, if he plays games, or tries to impress her with superficial gestures, she'll see through it immediately. A Sigma female is drawn to authenticity, a man who is strong in his own right, who doesn't need to prove himself through arrogance or manipulation. This is where many men struggle. They're used to women who are eager to please, who overlook flaws, who tolerate laziness or inconsistency. But a Sigma female, she has no patience for half-hearted effort. If a man isn't bringing value to her life, he won't have a place in it. And let's be clear, her high standards aren't about being picky or demanding. They're about self-respect. She knows her worth. She knows what she brings to the table. She refuses to lower her expectations just to accommodate someone who can't rise to meet them. For the right man, this is a challenge worth accepting. A man who is confident, driven, and emotionally mature, won't be intimidated by her standards. He'll be inspired by them. He'll see her as an equal, not a woman to be conquered or tamed. He'll recognize that being with a Sigma female is a privilege, not an entitlement. But for men who are lazy, insecure, or looking for a woman to stroke their ego, they won't last long in her world. She'll recognize their weaknesses immediately, and she won't hesitate to walk away with no regrets and no second chances. A Sigma female is not just smart. She's strategic. She sees patterns others miss, dissects conversations with precision, and has a mind that operates on a higher frequency. Her intelligence isn't just about book smarts. It's a blend of intellect, intuition, and quick thinking that makes her a force to be reckoned with. This level of sharpness can be intimidating, especially to men who are used to being the smartest person in the room. A Sigma female doesn't dumb herself down to make anyone feel more comfortable. She won't pretend to be impressed by empty bravado or surface-level charm. If a man can't keep up with her intellect, the gap will become obvious, and that's where the discomfort begins. She enjoys deep, thought-provoking conversations, not shallow small talk. She sees through lies and manipulation instantly. She's not easily deceived, nor does she fall for emotional tactics meant to control or guilt trip her. Men who rely on charm or mind games often find themselves frustrated when their usual tricks don't work on her. Her wit is another weapon in her arsenal. A Sigma female is quick on her feet, sharp with her words, and unafraid to challenge anyone who underestimates her. She's not one to sit silently while someone speaks nonsense. If something doesn't make sense, she'll call it out. If someone tries to belittle her, she'll dismantle them with a single, well-placed remark. And while she never seeks to humiliate, she also won't allow herself to be disrespected. For some men, this is unsettling. They may feel outmatched, unsure of how to handle a woman who doesn't need to be led or taught. They may mistake her confidence for arrogance, her intelligence for dominance. But the truth is, a Sigma female isn't trying to outshine anyone. She simply refuses to dim her light to make others feel bigger. The right man will recognize her brilliance as an asset, not a threat. He won't feel the need to compete. He'll appreciate having a partner who challenges him, who inspires him to think deeper, grow stronger, and rise to her level. But a man who can't handle her intelligence, he'll make excuses, call her too much, and ultimately fade into the background. Because in her world, weak minds don't last long. A Sigma female isn't antisocial. She's selective. While many people feel energized by constant social interaction, she finds peace in solitude. She doesn't need an overflowing social calendar to feel validated, nor does she crave the noise of meaningless conversations. For her, solitude isn't loneliness, it's freedom. This is something that confuses and often intimidates men who expect a woman to be constantly seeking attention, companionship, or validation. A Sigma female values her alone time because it allows her to reflect, grow, and maintain her sense of self. She doesn't surround herself with people just for the sake of it. If she spends time with someone, it's because she genuinely wants to, not because she's afraid of being alone. Men who are used to women who constantly seek their presence or approval may find themselves feeling unneeded around a Sigma female. She won't beg for attention. She won't demand constant reassurance. And if she needs space, she'll take it, without explanation, without guilt, and without worrying about how it makes others feel. This preference for solitude also makes her immune to peer pressure. She doesn't feel the need to conform to societal expectations, follow trends, or fit in with any particular group. She moves at her own pace, in her own world, and on her own terms. This level of detachment from the need for social validation can be unsettling for men who rely on external approval to define their worth. She also avoids drama. She doesn't waste time on petty gossip, unnecessary conflicts, or people who drain her energy. She would rather spend an evening alone reading, working on her passions, or simply enjoying her own company. than be in a room full of people who add no real value to her life. For some men, this is intimidating. They don't know how to handle a woman who is perfectly content without them. They may mistake her independence for coldness, or assume she doesn't care. But the truth is, a Sigma female simply refuses to attach her happiness to someone else's presence. The right man will understand that her solitude isn't a rejection. It's a part of who she is. He won't try to invade her space or make her feel guilty for needing time alone. Instead, he'll respect it, knowing that when she chooses to share her time with him, it means more than words could ever express. A Sigma female is direct, honest, and utterly uninterested in the psychological games that many people play in relationships and social interactions. She sees manipulation for what it is, a waste of time, and refuses to engage in tactics meant to create confusion, jealousy, or insecurity. Unlike some women who thrive on keeping men guessing, using mixed signals, or creating artificial drama to gain attention, a Sigma female values transparency. If she likes someone, she'll show it in her own subtle, meaningful way. If she's uninterested, she won't string anyone along just to feel validated. There are no hidden agendas, no silent treatment, no "let's see if he texts first" mindsets, just straightforward intentions. This can be unnerving for men who are used to a different dynamic. A Sigma female doesn't operate by the unwritten rules of modern dating. She won't play hard to get just to create an illusion of exclusivity, nor will she pretend to be something she's not just to gain a man's interest. If he's interested, great. If not, she moves on. No hard feelings, no wasted energy. The same applies to attention-seeking behavior. She doesn't chase validation through likes, comments, or social media clout. She doesn't rely on external approval to feel beautiful, intelligent, or worthy. She doesn't need constant compliments or grand gestures to feel secure in herself. Her self-worth isn't dictated by how many people notice her. It comes from within. This mindset is powerful, but it also makes her a mystery. In a world where many people crave external validation, a woman who doesn't seek it can be intimidating. Men who are used to stroking egos or playing games to maintain control often find themselves frustrated when their usual tactics don't work on her. And here's the key difference. While some women enjoy the thrill of the chase, a Sigma female doesn't need to be chased. She needs to be respected. She values real connection, not fleeting attention. She's not interested in temporary affection, superficial attraction, or half-hearted effort. The right man will appreciate this. He won't feel the need to manipulate, test, or win her over, because he'll recognize that the only way to truly be with a Sigma female is through authenticity, consistency, and a deep mutual understanding. Anything less? She won't even acknowledge it. A Sigma female isn't for the faint of heart. She challenges norms, shatters expectations, and refuses to conform to the traditional roles that many men find comfortable. This is precisely why some men fear her, because she represents something they can't control. Weak men fear her independence. They don't understand how a woman can be so self-sufficient, so unbothered by societal pressures, and so willing to walk away from anything that doesn't serve her. These men are used to being needed, to being the provider, the leader, the one who holds the power in a relationship. But a Sigma female flips that dynamic on its head. She doesn't need a man. She chooses one. And that choice is based on mutual respect, not dependency. Insecure men fear her honesty. They expect women to soften their words, to make them feel bigger, stronger, more important. But a Sigma female doesn't cater to fragile egos. She speaks the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. She won't pretend to be impressed by arrogance, and she certainly won't stroke a man's ego just to keep him around. If he can't handle directness, he won't last long in her world. Unambitious men fear her standards. She doesn't settle for mediocrity, whether in her own life or in a partner. A man who lacks drive, passion, or a sense of purpose won't impress her, because she's constantly evolving, growing, and striving for more. If a man isn't on a similar path, he'll feel left behind, and instead of stepping up, he'll make excuses, calling her too demanding or too much. But the right man, he sees her for what she truly is, rare. He doesn't fear her independence. He respects it. He doesn't shy away from her honesty. He welcomes it. He doesn't resent her standards. He meets them. The right man recognizes that being with a Sigma female is a privilege, not a challenge. He understands that she doesn't withhold love. She simply waits for the one who's strong enough to handle it. And when he does, she will give him something far greater than fleeting attraction or surface-level affection. She will offer loyalty, depth, and a love so real, so unshakable, that it will redefine everything he thought he knew about relationships. But only if he's strong enough to handle her. Because if he's not, she'll walk away, without hesitation, without regret, and without ever looking back. A Sigma female isn't for everyone. She is unapologetically herself, embracing both her dark and light sides. And that's what makes her truly powerful. If a man is scared, he was never meant to stand beside her anyway. Are you a Sigma female? Drop a comment if you own your power. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more content.